In this video, I'm going to share with you my 2020 movie watching list. Hey, it's me AP and welcome back to another video. So as I said in the titles, in this video I will be discussing my movie watching list in 2020. So I want to discuss, the movies I've been watching this year and what movies are still on my list and why I made a list. So yeah, first of all, why did I make a list and where did this happen? So for me, I've never had a movie watching list. I've always said, someone recommends a movie, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll add that to my list of movies to watch. But realistically, I didn't actually have a list. Don't tell anyone. But yes, the reason why I wanted to start one this year is because of what has happened this year. We've had the coronavirus. Cinemas have not really been open. I've not been to a cinema this year, so a lot of movies are not coming out. There's still been a few movies that have come out this year, but not as many as normally would be. So for me, that was one of the reasons I wanted to start a movie list. Another reason I wanted to start a movie list is because, for me, a lot of movies just pass through the net and you don't really, I forget about them, or they'll come along and they'll be like, yeah, I'll watch them one day. And I never watch them. I never get around to watching them. Things just happen. Things come up in life, you just don't get the time and you don't make the time to watch them because you don't make it a priority. So that was another reason why I wanted to start a movie watching list, because I actually live my life by list. I do daily lists every day and I do like lists for self-improvement. So I'm big on lists. So for me, it was just a bit weird for me not to have a list talking about movies and discussing movies. So I thought, the past few months I've been thinking, I want to watch more movies, but I want to watch movies that I've never watched before. So last month I decided to start a list, and it was just, thinking off the top of my head, movies that I've never watched before, and it was just certain ones I add into the list and keep on adding. And then if someone recommended a movie, I'd put it on a list. So this is just in my phone, in my reminders on my phone, made a list, movies to watch list, and I just kept on adding it, and now I've got about 20 odd movies in it, but I've watched about 10 or 15 already. So already it's worked for me, because once they're in the list, then they go into my daily list of, I have like one routine on a normal day of, when it's not a rest day, of I can have one entertainment activity a day. So that could be either like playing a video game, or watching some wrestling, watching a football match, or watching a movie. So on that day, I have one entertainment item. This sounds ridiculous. I'm sure some of you may be saying this sounds really way too structured for someone to have within a day. They shouldn't be doing this. But for me, it works. And I will then add, on some days, watch this movie. I'll take a movie from the list of movies I need to watch, add it to my daily list, and then I will watch that movie. And it's been great because I've watched a load of new movies I've never watched before, had some new experiences of watching movies, and I've really enjoyed it. And that's why I made a list in 2020. So let me share with you some of the movies, well, all the movies on the list, the current list now. As I said, it's changing daily, there's always new movies to be added, and once they're off the list, it gets marked off, but I can still look at the movies I've already watched. So these are the movies that I'm still yet to watch, and I'm hoping to watch them ASAP. So I'm just going to go through the list on my phone now. So we got The Crow, the Crow movie, the original Dracula movie with Christopher Lee. I want to watch that. I've never watched that movie before. That's something I'm really excited to watch. The Crow I'm really excited to watch because, as a wrestling fan, I know that the professional wrestler Sting, his character, when he changed with he went to the black and white makeup, and the character of his character, the Crow, it was all influenced by that movie of The Crow. So I'm really intrigued to see that. I'm looking forward to watching that as well. Akira is a movie I've already watched, but I can't really remember it that well. I watched it years ago, so some movies that I've already watched are on the list, but the movies that I probably didn't have a good experience of, and I'm probably going to give it another chance because I can't really remember it. So Akira, the anime, I need to watch it. I need to have a rewatching experience with that movie. Next up is Creed 2, the spin-off series of the Rocky movies. I really enjoyed Creed 1. I thought it was a really good movie. So Creed 2 is on there. The Shining. The Shining is another one. It's like a classic movie I've never seen, and there's some classic movies that I have been watching that some people would be like, "Whoa, you call yourself a movie fan and you've never watched The Shining?" Trust me, there's more of them. Next up is Citizen Kane. Everyone says this is one of the best movies ever made, and I know nothing about Citizen Kane. I don't know anything about it. It's a movie. I'm going to give it a watch, see what I think. Raging Bull. I've never seen that movie. A more modern movie, Get Out. Get Out is... I'm not a massive horror fan, but I'm trying to force myself into watching more horror movies now. Just so I can experience more feelings of watching movies. That feeling of fear of watching movies, especially when you're a pussycat like me, with watching horror. So I do want to watch more horror movies, and I've heard Get Out is quite a good movie to watch. Next up, my brother-in-law recommended this, Bloodsport. Bloodsport's meant to be a really cool movie. Then we've got 3 different movies here. I've got the original Thing movie, the remake, which was a few years ago. Sorry, hang on. The original, the 80s. First of all, we have the 80s one, with I think Kurt Russell's in that. Then the new one, which is it a sequel or is it a prequel? I know it's something like that. And the monster, the original 1930s or 1950s Thing movie. And I want to watch all 3 of them. I want to enjoy them all and see what a lot of people really rate these movies as horror movies, so I really want to watch them. Next up, Harry and the Hendersons. I've never watched it. Everyone says it's a fun movie. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Again, I remember watching it as a kid, but I can't really remember it, so I'm going to give that a watch. Inglourious Basterds. I'd never watched Inglourious Basterds, and everyone... No, hang on, no. Tell a lie. I have watched it, and I didn't enjoy it. I watched about 20 minutes of it. Didn't think much of it. Next up, Almost Famous. Never seen it. Nightcrawler. Everyone again says this is a fantastic movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. And I recently watched Donnie Darko, and I was amazed by that. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was an amazing experience. So I'm really looking forward to watching Nightcrawler. Then we have The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, the new movie by Guy Ritchie. I'm gonna really intrigued to watch that. The Greatest Showman. I really do enjoy musicals, and this is one that I've seen a bit of on TV, but I've never watched it all. So I want to watch Greatest Showman. I really enjoy the music within it. I've had it on my gym playlist. So I've seen everything apart from watching the full movie. So I want to watch The Greatest Showman. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Again, I'm a big wrestling fan, so Ready to Rumble, the 90s or the early 2000s movie. Everyone says this is a pretty bad movie with David Arquette in, but I'm going to give it a watch as a wrestling fan. And the last one is the Tom Hanks Mr. Rogers movie. I don't recall what it's called. Something in the Neighbourhood, is it? I haven't got the exact title. I just put in my phone Mr. Rogers movie. So I'm going to watch that as well. They're the current ones in the list. And as I said, movies are always getting added to the movie watching list of 2020. But now I want to go through some of the movies I've already watched, and I'll list a few of them. So, Dallas Buyers Club, and this movie has won numerous Oscars. I watched this the other night. I thought it was amazing. The story of the AIDS movement in the 80s and how it was really condemned by a lot of people. People didn't, if someone had AIDS, and especially in some places, I'm sure it's not in every location, but people treated these people like animals. It was disgusting. And watching this movie I thought it was a fantastic performance movie and a fantastic story. Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto. Wow, really, really great story. I enjoyed that. Point Break with Keanu Reeves. I've recently watched this, and Patrick Swayze. Whoa, that is just the ultimate, movie that I've probably never watched. Point Break, I really enjoyed it. What more can I say? Magnificent movie. Really gripping story throughout. And I'm glad I've watched it now. Mallrats. I'm not a big Kevin Smith fan. I actually really... I listened to a podcast called Tell 'em Steve Dave. And it's some of the characters who were in Walt Flanagan and Brian Johnson, and it's Brian Quinn out of the Impractical Jokers, and Brian Johnson and Walt Flanagan featured the best friends with Kevin Smith, and they featured as like backing characters in the movies. And one scene, in, I think it's in Mallrats, they say "Tell 'em Steve Dave," and they started a podcast years later called "Tell 'em Steve Dave." And I've never been a big. I remember watching Clerks, and just I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a good movie for me. I just didn't see the funny side of it. I think a lot of people say with Kevin Smith movies as well, you need to be watching it at a time. So for me, watching like movies like Clerks and Mallrats at the time, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. But Mallrats probably is just, yeah, it wasn't a movie for me. That's me being kind. Didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy Mallrats at all. Hubie Halloween, the new Adam Sandler movie, I enjoyed that. Spaceballs, I wasn't a massive fan of Spaceballs. Flash Gordon, it's a movie I've rewatched, but I watched it years ago. First viewing, I didn't enjoy it. Second viewing, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. Really cool sci-fi movie. A lot of really fun movie as well. Flash Gordon. Good Will Hunting, I watched it years ago and I can't really remember it. Watched it again, I didn't really enjoy it. I thought, for me, Good Will Hunting was a few great acting moments, especially with Robin Williams. The scene when he's in like the park with Matt Damon's character and he does this big long bit of dialogue, and it's fantastic. I think Good Will Hunting for me is two great performances but not a great story, and that's where it fell flat for me. I thought the story just didn't bring the overall level of the movie up to a par where I'm saying it's a good movie. So yeah, Good Will Hunting, not for me. Next up, Beetlejuice. Again, one I've watched years ago briefly, couldn't remember it, rewatched it, and I again, this was similar to Good Will Hunting for me. Certain films I watch and I'm like, yeah, this is it's got a good character or a good few moments in it. For me, the movie of Beetlejuice was a bad movie, but it featured Michael Keaton playing Beetlejuice in it. Beetlejuice's character was fantastic. I would like to see more from Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice character, but I don't think it made up for the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie just wasn't for me, and I don't think it was a good movie for me. I didn't enjoy it. But if I was going to say it's a good or a bad movie, I would say it's a bad movie, Beetlejuice. I judge it upon, I want to see good characters, a good plot, a good overall shiny product from a movie, and Beetlejuice just doesn't do it for me. Let's go back to the list, and yeah, two more films I want to talk about. Moneyball with Brad Pitt, and this is a true story about a baseball team, and basically he's this director of the scouting within the baseball team, and it's a true story where he decides to go down a different route because he can't get the financial funds for the team to get in the best players, and they're losing all the top players. So he gets this guy in to do all the stats, and basically they rethink the way you scout and build a team, a sports team. And instead of just getting the most expensive and popular players, he goes with this guy. I can't think of the actor's name now. Jonah Hill. His character's in it. He plays this like stat guy who's a data analyst within the sports team, and he then does all these figures, and they get like these players who are just in the dark or obscurity of their careers, and bring them in, and then they create this great, fantastic team and go on this massive, unbeaten run. And it's a true story, and I've been reading recently about this story. The character Brad Pitt plays, they say his character was really revolutionised the way sports teams move forward, in the way they scout players and the way they recruit players now within baseball and other sports systems as well. So I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was a great movie. I'm really into sports movies because I'm a sports fan as well. And I thought it was a fantastic watch. Now, the last movie on the list is one I am ashamed of, but I've never seen it. I've watched it now, and I thought it was spectacular. And that movie is Jaws. Jaws is wow, one of those movies I always said, you know, I've never watched it. I've never watched it, and people will say, yeah, you've got to watch Jaws, and I was like, it's just a big shark, isn't it? That's all it is. It's just a big shark. What's fun about that? I was taken aback by how good Jaws was. For a movie, what was in the 70s as well, it was such a awesome movie experience. I enjoyed it. I was excited watching it. I was just on the edge of my seat with like, whoa, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen? The characters were great. The plot was great. The whole storyline was great. The music's fantastic by John Williams. Steven Spielberg just nailed it. He made a top draw movie, and I am glad I've watched it now. I know there's tons of sequels to Jaws. I probably won't watch any of the sequels, or maybe I will one day, but at the moment they're not on the list. But for me, Jaws works on its own. It's a great singular movie. It's a great blockbuster movie, and I imagine it was a great blockbuster at the time. Probably made a ton of money. I think nowadays movies like this don't work as well, but back then it worked great. And for me, watching it now, fresh eyes on it, I thought it was a superb movie to watch. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more movie related videos, and do make sure you click on the notification bell as well. And if you want to support this channel more so, you can check out the Amazon affiliate links below. If you click on them links and purchase something through them, a small amount of profit goes to supporting myself and the channel overall, and all support is much appreciated. So I hope you enjoyed this video today about my movie watching list in 2020. I hope you weren't too negative towards me. I hope you're not going to have negative feelings now knowing that I'd never watched Jaws or Beetlejuice or any of these other movies, but you know, I've made up for it. I've watched Jaws now. I feel like a better man. I feel like I'm a fresh moviegoer. I feel like I've improved my level. It's like I've went up. I've got like experience points in like Pokemon. It's like I'm a Pokemon. I've went up a few levels now. I've watched Jaws. Now I've got to watch The Shining. I'll go up a few more levels. But you know, I'm growing as a movie fan, and I'm happy. I can happily admit as well, I've not watched every single movie in the world. I love movies. I got my YouTube channel. It's about movies mainly, and you know, I've not watched everything, but I want to watch more movies. And if you have any recommendations for movies that I've not mentioned in this video, please do recommend me them and tell me why you like the movies, and tell me what movies are on your list of movies to watch. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.